Ever wonder what true insanity is? Most people spend their lives chasing better circumstances, working tirelessly, striving endlessly, juggling a million tasks, yet remain utterly stuck, financially frayed, emotionally fragile, mentally exhausted. The irony: they blame the world, economic downturns, childhood traumas, bad luck. But the truth is, the control dial isn't external, it's internal. And what you're about to hear might be uncomfortable, but it could be transformative. You're not blind to what's in front of you. You're mentally conditioned to believe life's a grind, success is for the lucky few, and true happiness is a fairy tale. I believed that too. It was 1961. I was 26, a nobody, with no formal education, no clear path, working dead-end jobs, earning peanuts, and worse, thinking negatively, convinced it was my destiny. That's when I met Ray Stanford. He looked at me and simply asked, "Bob, why don't you change your results?" I was stunned. The idea had never occurred to me. Change my results? It was like someone showed me the unlocked door to a cell I'd been inhabiting. I'd never even tried the handle. Have you ever asked yourself that? Could I change my reality? Do I deserve more than I have? Many don't ask because they fear the answer. They fear realizing they're operating far below their potential, and it all begins with your self-image. You could win the lottery, but if your self-image is one of struggle, you'll return to it. That's why 70% of lottery winners are broke again within 5 years. The outside world mirrors your internal landscape. It took a book to show me this, a simple book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I devoured it like it was my last meal, and for the first time I started rebuilding my self-image. It wasn't easy. Everything around me screamed that I wasn't enough. Tell me, how many times have you felt like you were growing internally, only to be pulled back by your environment, the people around you, your own mind? That's because your self-image was built in childhood, by adults saying, "That's not for you," by peers laughing at your big dreams, by debts looming larger than your paycheck. It all forged a mold, and now you're trapped inside. But the good news? You can break the mold. You can create a new, powerful image. And when that image changes, everything changes. Need an example? I saw myself as a janitor, ordinary. But one day I wrote, "I am an international entrepreneur. I serve people worldwide. I am a millionaire." A lie? At the time, yes. But what happens when you intentionally lie to your mind? It believes it, and it starts reorganizing to make it real. Today, scientists call it active visualization or creative mental training. Studies from the Cleveland Clinic show the brain activates the exact same neurons, the same ones, when vividly imagining an action as when actually performing it. Can you imagine earning more, living better, experiencing inner peace? Then you can create it, because it all starts in the mind. Everything is created twice, internally, then externally. So let me ask you a challenging question. When was the last time you considered yourself valuable, capable of something extraordinary? If you can't remember, it's time to rebuild that image. And it doesn't matter how many times you failed, your age, background, or past. I was 26, struggling. 5 years later, I was earning over $1 million a year. But here's the secret. I wasn't a different person. I was the same person with a new image. Image creates behavior. Behavior creates results. If you try to change the result without changing the image, you'll always revert. Think about it. How many times have you dieted and gained the weight back? How many times tried to save money and ended up in debt? Because you didn't change who you believe yourself to be. You're fighting your conditioning, and it always wins until you reprogram it. Here's an exercise. Do it for 7 days, no exceptions. Take a piece of paper, write a description of who you want to be in the present tense, as if it's already true. Something like, "I am disciplined. I wake early. I prioritize my health. I earn money effortlessly. I have healthy relationships. I am prosperous and vibrant." Read it aloud every morning. Imagine it. Visualize it. Feel it. Act as if it's true. Initially, you'll feel like a fraud. That's where the power lies. Because soon, it becomes you. That's what I did. That's how I went from a grease-stained kid to a global entrepreneur with businesses in London, Toronto, Atlanta, and beyond. If I could do it, you can too. The secret isn't out there. It's in how you see yourself. And when you change that, the world adjusts to align with your new image. Ironically, even after achieving financial success and global business, I felt disconnected. Changing your image isn't a one-time fix. It needs constant nurturing and refinement. The world constantly pulls us back to the comfortable, the familiar, the limited. If you're not vigilant, that old image of failure, fear, scarcity reclaims control. That's why so many people self-sabotage, not because they want to, but because deep down they still carry an identity that whispers, "I'm not good enough." Ever felt that? That voice whispering when opportunity knocks, "This isn't for me. What if I fail? What if everyone laughs?" Those voices aren't real. They're echoes of your old self-image. The truth? Every fear you feel is the fear of becoming something you don't yet believe you are. The universe, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are, and you only become something new when you allow yourself to see yourself differently. I remember it vividly, sitting in a Toronto cafe looking at my reflection. A voice in my head said, "You're just an office cleaner." But in that moment, I defied it. I wrote in my notebook, "I am an educator. I help people worldwide change their lives." I wrote that before helping anyone, before giving my first talk, before anyone believed in me. And guess what? I started acting like it was true. My voice changed. My habits changed. My decisions changed. And the world responded. You're waiting for the world to prove you can, before allowing yourself to change. It's the opposite. You must see yourself differently first. You must believe before there's proof. Faith, not religious faith, but inner faith, always precedes evidence. Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. Why? Knowledge is limited to what already exists. Imagination creates what doesn't, and you are a creator. You are made to imagine and manifest. Now listen carefully. If you continue seeing yourself the same way, the next 5 years of your life will be a repeat of the last 5. And if that scares you, great. Fear, when harnessed, is a catalyst. It can fuel your transformation. The question isn't if you can change your life. It's, are you willing to change how you see yourself? Because the day you do is the day everything starts moving. And that day can be today. You were programmed to be poor. I know that statement is jarring, maybe even irritating, but examine your life. What were you taught about money as a child? Probably things like, money doesn't grow on trees, the rich don't go to heaven, or you have to work hard your whole life to get anywhere. These phrases embed themselves in your subconscious as absolute truths, silently shaping invisible limits on your ability to prosper. I grew up hearing those same phrases. I spent my youth job hopping, always underpaid, always believing financial success was for someone else, not someone like me. No prestigious schools, no impressive degrees. Then one man appeared and said something simple, direct. You don't have to keep living like this, you can change your results. That sentence changed everything, but wanting wasn't enough. I needed to understand why, despite my efforts, I wasn't progressing. The answer was simple. I'd been programmed not to. You can work yourself to the bone, but if your mind is conditioned for scarcity, you'll run in circles. Prosperity isn't about luck or hard work. It's about consciousness, and no one teaches you that. The irony? School prepares you for a job for years, yet never teaches you how to actually make money. It doesn't teach you how money works, how to create multiple income streams, or how to think like the wealthy think. According to a study by the Champlain College Center for Financial Literacy, 80% of US schools provide inadequate financial education, and you think the rest of the world is different. Money is one of the only things that, despite being present in every facet of life, is treated as taboo. Say you want to earn a lot of money and you're labeled greedy. Say you want to be rich and you're accused of selling your soul. But the truth, money simply amplifies who you already are. It doesn't transform you, it expands you. And here's a harsh reality. Most people who say money isn't important are stressed, sick, and unhappy because they can't pay their bills. It's proven. Research from the American Psychological Association shows financial stress is a leading cause of anxiety, depression, and physical illness. Money doesn't buy happiness, but lack of it buys misery, and it buys it dearly. When I started earning more money than I ever thought possible, it wasn't because I worked harder. I simply started thinking differently. I realized I didn't go to work to earn money. I went to satisfy myself and serve others. Money was a consequence of the value I delivered. When I grasped this, my mind operated differently. I studied the habits of the world's most successful people, and what do they have in common? None rely on a single income stream. Have you thought about that? How many income streams do you have? One. Perhaps none active beyond your job. Now consider, what if that stream dries up tomorrow? Could you maintain your lifestyle? Most couldn't. That's why the security you think you have is an illusion. Wealthy people, since the time of Babylon, have always had multiple ways to generate wealth. They earn while they sleep, while they travel. They don't sell time for money. They understand time is limited, but ideas aren't. Therefore, they invest in assets, businesses, products, knowledge, things that keep generating income even when they're not actively working. I started by cleaning one office. Once I understood how money truly worked, I cleaned offices in multiple cities: Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, London. Soon, I was making over $1 million a year. And no, I didn't become an overnight genius. I simply rewrote my programming. You might be thinking, but I don't have money to invest, no connections, no time. But I'll tell you something I learned the hard way. Those are symptoms of conditioning. When you change your thinking, you find ways. The opportunities already exist. They just don't appear to those blinded by a scarcity mindset. Understand this: there's no limit to how much you can earn. None. The world is more connected than ever. You can sell products, teach something, share knowledge, provide services globally from your phone. But before any action, consciousness must shift. Your mental model needs to expand for money to flow. And the first question you need to ask yourself is, how do I truly want to live? Because without a clear picture of the life you want, any crumb will seem sufficient. But when you define exactly how you want to live, the house, the car, the travel, the comfort, the financial peace of mind, you ignite an inner urgency, and that urgency is the beginning of transformation. You weren't born to survive. You were born to thrive. But as long as you obey a mental program that isn't yours, you'll settle for the bare minimum. And worse, you'll think it's normal. But it's not. It never was. Today, you have a chance to break that cycle, to question what you've always been told, to reprogram your mind for wealth. And I'm here to tell you it's not just possible, it's your birthright. Have you ever considered that absolutely everything that exists today, everything, was once a simple idea in someone's mind? Think about it. The phone you use, the building you live in, the clothes you're wearing, even this video you're watching. It all started as a thought. A thought is energy, and energy moves. It vibrates. We live in a universe governed by laws, and one of the most powerful is the law of vibration. When I first understood this, it was like a curtain being lifted. I realized life doesn't happen to me, it responds to me. It responds to what I think, what I feel, what I vibrate. And vibration, listen closely, is determined by the thoughts you consistently hold. If you're constantly worried, fearful, feeling scarcity, guilt, guess what you're attracting? More of the same. Now stop and reflect. How many times have you started the day with a negative thought? Something small, an unwanted email, an unexpected bill, bad news, and suddenly the whole day seems to crumble. Delays, conflicts, exhaustion. Think it's coincidence? I assure you, it's not. It's vibration. You entered a low frequency and got stuck there. The law of attraction popularized by The Secret isn't mystical. It's a direct consequence of the law of vibration. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And you are, energetically, what you consistently vibrate. That's why for years I felt trapped. I'd earn money, then lose it. I'd achieve things, and suddenly everything would slip away, until I realized my inner world wasn't aligned with what I claimed to want. I clearly remember a conversation with a young man at a seminar. He said, "Bob, I want to be rich. I think about it all the time." I asked, "How do you feel when you think about it?" He replied, "Anxious, because I don't have it." That's the trap. Thinking about money, desiring it, talking about it, is useless if the associated feeling is lack, because then, without realizing it, you're vibrating scarcity, and the universe delivers more of the same. The trick is to shift your emotional frequency, and that's where the power of visualization, of creative imagination comes in. I've been doing this since 1961, and each time I apply this principle, I see the universe reorganizing in my favor. I see connections forming, the right people appearing, opportunities presenting themselves as if they were waiting for me. You might be thinking, "That never happens to me." I ask you, how have you been feeling lately? How do you feel when you think about your future? Do you vibrate confidence or doubt? Enthusiasm or fear? It's simple. If you want to change what's around you, change what's within you. But be warned, this requires consistency. Vibrating positively for 5 minutes and spending the rest of the day complaining won't work. The dominant frequency always prevails. Today we have scientific proof. Neuroscience shows that thoughts sustained by intense emotions reprogram neural connections. They shape your brain, creating new pathways. This is neuroplasticity. And when you understand and consciously apply this principle, you literally become a magnet for experiences aligned with your new vibration. That's why I always teach, create rituals. Start your day by tuning your mind. I have a moment I call my frequency adjustment. 5 to 10 minutes of silence, eyes closed, deep breathing, vividly visualizing the life I want. I see it, I feel it, I believe it. Then I let go. This daily practice has more transformative power than 1,000 disconnected actions. A mind aligned at a high frequency generates better ideas, better decisions, better attitudes. And I'll give you another exercise. A simple yet powerful one. Choose one goal, just one. Something you truly desire. More money, a new job, a relationship. Now close your eyes and imagine it's already real, not as someone waiting, but as someone living it. Feel what it would be like to wake up with it already happening. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the emotions. Do this every day for 21 days. And then tell me what happened. Some people who've done this exercise with me in coaching sessions around the world have reported miraculous changes. It wasn't magic, it was vibration. It was emotional consistency. It was faith applied intelligently. But I must be honest, many can't maintain it for more than 3 days. Why? Because they're addicted to feeling bad, addicted to drama, worry, scarcity. The body's emotional chemistry becomes accustomed to pain and rejects peace. This is real. It's documented. Shifting frequency requires commitment, courage, and repetition. You'll fall, you'll forget, you'll sabotage yourself. But getting back up and repeating is what separates those who transform their lives from those who live the same story on repeat. You were born with this power. No one told you, but it's always been there. The question is, how long will you continue ignoring it? Because the day you accept that your vibration creates your reality, you'll stop chasing things and start attracting them. People live as if they have all the time in the world. Life's a ticking clock, not a dress rehearsal. We all have that nagging feeling, the someday syndrome. We postpone dreams, big decisions, even simple joys, convinced the perfect moment will magically appear. Newsflash, it won't. My friend Bill, 16, thought he had decades ahead. One ordinary afternoon on Kingston Road, heading to Toronto, his life ended instantly in a head-on collision. He likely believed he had 50, 60 years. He had less than 30 minutes. How many things are you putting off? That career change, starting your business, ending a toxic relationship, prioritizing your health. What if later never comes? My grandmother, on the other hand, always said, "I'll be gone soon," from her 60s onward. She lived to 94, falling asleep peacefully. She thought she had little time, she had a lot. Bill thought he had plenty, he had little. The point? You don't know how much time you have. Nobody does. That's the harsh truth most avoid because it stings. It demands action, a break from inertia disguised as safety. How many people do you know who say it's not the right time, like life's a draft and they get endless rewrites? It isn't. This is the main stage, and the curtain can fall at any moment. What saddens me most is watching people waste their lives through fear of failure, judgment, ridicule. It paralyzes them, waiting for permission that'll never come. Then they look back, time's flown, and they haven't lived, just existed. I was one of them. Early in my career, I turned down $1 million a year job at Nightingale Conant in Chicago to take one paying $18,000. A drastic cut. Why? Because it put me on the right path, teaching me what truly mattered. I could have said, it's not the right time, but if I had, you wouldn't be hearing this. Life repeatedly shows that transformative moments happen when you ditch the safe route and embrace purpose. How many people spend decades in jobs they hate because it's secure? In empty relationships, fearing loneliness, burying dreams because it feels too late? That's not living. It's surviving. Most people live backward, clinging to the past, burdened by guilt and regret, forgetting life happens now. Think of an hourglass. The fallen sand is the past. You can't get it back. The sand yet to fall is the future. Nobody knows how much is left. The only sand you can use is what's falling now, the present. That's your arena. You don't need everything figured out to start. Just start. It'll be scary, maybe feel crazy, but life doesn't reward those playing it safe. It rewards those who dare with faith. Look at Elon Musk, risking his fortune on Tesla and SpaceX. Walt Disney, rejected countless times before building an entertainment empire. They didn't wait to feel ready. Nobody does. You become ready along the way, and the way only starts with the first step, not perfection. It starts when you decide you deserve more, because you do. It's not just a wish, it's an obligation. If you have talents, passions, ideas, you have a mission, something only you can offer. Every time you postpone it, the world loses, you lose. So until when will you delay the life you were born to live? Time keeps marching. Fear regretting the risk, regretting inaction will hurt far more. You don't need grand gestures, just one step, one choice. That's how inner revolution starts. Once you begin, you won't want to stop because you'll feel truly alive. That feeling is worth everything. Most people only grasp time's value when it's gone. They wake up one day, years gone, little changed, dreams shelved, joy replaced by routine. Then comes emptiness, the weight of what could have been. Why didn't they act? Fear won. But fear, however real it seems, is just a shadow. It can't stop you, only convince you to quit. And life doesn't wait for quitters. Notice how time speeds up when you're unhappy. Days blur into weeks, months, years. You promise next year will be different, repeating habits and excuses. How many times have you said, later? Later I'll travel, care for myself, change jobs, invest in my passions. But when later becomes never, nobody warns you. So I invite you to stop. Now breathe deep. Close your eyes and ask, if today were my last, would I be at peace? This isn't to scare you, but to awaken you. If the answer is no, you have a massive gift, the chance to change it now. While you still breathe, feel, have a voice, you have power. To restart, to do things differently, to break free from autopilot and take control. Don't break your life. Don't seek anyone's approval. Don't trade your dreams for mediocrity. You're here for a reason, listening for a reason. Today might be your moment to truly live. If it is, know that life responds to those who choose, with courage, action, presence. The only thing you truly have is now, and now is everything. The life you crave is available. It begins when you stop postponing and decide to live now, not tomorrow, not when things are perfect, but now, as you are, with what you have. Because it's in the step you take today that the next path is revealed. If this resonated, if your heart quickened, you know this wasn't just another video. It was a call, a reminder that you can, you deserve, and it's time to begin. And speaking of beginnings, the next video is your next step. If this one showed you it's possible, the next will show you how to climb another rung on your ladder of wisdom, becoming a little better than you are now, continuing on your journey of growth. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.